Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English channel. Now in the months of winter, when Justice Yashwant Verma was one of the judges in Delhi High Court, in his official residence in Delhi, there was this fire incident. So when the members of fire brigade, they went to his house to put out the fire, they discovered that there was this hoards of burnt cash amounting to crores and crores of rupees. Now, this brought a question into the public glare that how can a public servant like a judge amass so much amount of cash? Now, this led to a lot of controversy. So, to investigate the claims of this cash, the Supreme Court of India constituted an internal in-house committee to investigate the allegations made against Justice Yashwant Verma. And this committee actually confirmed that Justice Yashwant Verma is involved in corrupt activities. Now, he was provided a honorable exit. He was requested by the Chief Justice of India that he should resign from office, but Justice Yashwant Verma denied doing so. So the another alternative that the government or the parliament has is to impeach him from office. So how is the impeachment process of a particular high court or a Supreme Court judge happens? That we'll try to understand in our today's video. And the notes, if you want to download them, they'll be available on a particular Telegram channel known as ATS Live. So you can open your Telegram app in the mobile phones. On the top right hand corner there's a search bar, right? So click it and write ATS Live. You'll find the channel, but if you still have problems in locating it now, this is the QR code that you can also scan. Subscribe to the channel if you still haven't, and you can download the notes. Okay, so let us start by understanding what is happening right now. Now, yesterday, the formal process of impeachment of Justice Yashwant Verma, it was started in the parliament. Some total of 145 MPs in Lok Sabha and 63 MPs in Rajya Sabha, they submitted a petition to the respective presiding officer asking him to start the impeachment process of Justice Verma in connection with the cash discovery row that happened in his official residence. Now, why so many amount of MPs needed to sign this petition? We'll understand in our today's video. Okay, so in this video, let us try to understand what is the formal constitutional and legal process which is required to be fulfilled before you can remove a judge of Supreme Court or High Court from office, right? First, let us understand what the Constitution says about it. Now, the Constitution of India under Article 124 subsection 4, it highlights the process to remove a judge of Supreme Court from office or impeach a judge of Supreme Court. Similarly, to remove a judge of High Court, it is given in Article 218 of the Constitution. Now, both of these articles provide the grounds based on which you can remove the judge from office. And the Constitution says that you can only remove a judge from office, that is a High Court or a Supreme Court judge, based on two circumstances: whether he or she has demonstrated a proven misbehavior or they are not having the capacity to discharge their official duties. So according to Constitution, there are two grounds: proven misbehavior and incapacity, based on which you can remove a judge from office. And these two words are not defined in the Constitution. These can be interpreted in multiple ways. So many people have interpreted that if a judge is involved in corrupt activities, it means that he or she has demonstrated a proven misbehavior, which is a ground for removal from office. Now, to get this motion which is adopted in the Houses of Parliament, you need to get this passed by what is called as a special majority, right? How this special majority works, let me tell you. Now, once this resolution is adopted in the floor of the House, it needs to be passed by a special majority, which means majority of total membership of the House and majority of not less than 2/3 of members who are present and voting at that particular instance in both of the houses. And these two conditions needs to be filled simultaneously, then only the judge can be removed from office. But at the time of bringing this resolution in the House and before the voting could take place, there are different procedures that are required to be followed. And this is regulated by an act which is passed by the Indian Parliament known as Judges Inquiry Act 1968. This act provides rules and procedures that both houses needs to follow before they can remove the judge from office by voting them through what? Through special majority. Now, this act, it states that for removal of a judge, you need to bring the motion of impeachment in either houses of the parliament. And if you are introducing it in Lok Sabha, you need consent or permission of at least 100 members of Lok Sabha. You can also decide to bring this in Rajya Sabha. For that, you need consent of at least 50 members in Rajya Sabha. That is why you'll understand total of 145 MPs have submitted this resolution in Lok Sabha, which is more than 100 members required legally. Similarly, it is required that you need consent of more than 50 MPs from Rajya Sabha. That is why 63 MPs have signed this petition. Understood now? Now, this says that you have to introduce this motion of impeachment in either Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, where you need consent of at least 100 members or 50 members respectively. Now, this motion, when it is being brought into either of these houses, this needs to be approved by what is known as presiding officer of the house, right? Who is the presiding officer in Lok Sabha? It is the Lok Sabha speaker. And in Rajya Sabha, it is the ex officio chairperson of Rajya Sabha, who is the vice president of India. So these people who are the presiding officer, it is their discretion whether to accept this motion or to reject this motion, right? So it is their decision whether they accept this motion in the house or they reject this motion in the house. And if they accept this motion in the house, then the formal process of impeachment begins in either houses of the parliament. Now, suppose it is being accepted by the presiding officer, then that presiding officer constitutes what is known as a 3-member committee of inquiry. And it is the role and responsibility of this 3-member committee of inquiry to investigate the allegation that has been levied on the judge and frame or submit a report to the presiding officer of the house. And this 3-member committee of inquiry, which is constituted by presiding officer of both of the houses, it consists of Chief Justice of India or a judge nominated by Chief Justice of India of Supreme Court. Similarly, Chief Justice of any High Court and a distinguished jurist. These 3 people constitute what is known as a committee of inquiry. And this committee investigates, frames charges, and in case if they require, they also order conduction of medical test, right? So it is the responsibility of this committee to investigate the allegations that has been levied on the judge and to prove whether these allegations are true or false. Now let us suppose this committee conducts the inquiry and it is done with the inquiry. Now this committee comes to a conclusion and files this conclusion in a form of report to the presiding officer of the house. And the presiding officer of the house, they place this report in the floor of the house. Now suppose if this committee report says that the judge is not guilty of the allegation that was made against him or her, then this matter of impeachment ends and the judge is not impeached. While on the other hand, if the report comes to a conclusion that the judge is actually guilty of this offense, then this report is adopted in the floor of the house and address for the removal of the judge begins. And then only the voting process happens in the floor of the house. And what is required to fulfill the voting? I've already told you, you need to pass this resolution, which is what is known as with special majority in the house, right? So this voting begins only after the report of the 3-member committee highlights that judge is guilty of the allegation, right? And in total, from the time India got independent and from the time constitution was enacted, a total of 6 attempts has been made to remove a judge of either High Court and Supreme Court. And you will be surprised to know that only in 2 instances have the judges been found guilty of the allegations that were made. And even more surprising is the fact that no judge, be it a judge of Supreme Court or a judge of High Court, has been ever removed from office in the entire Indian history. Now, the last time a motion of impeachment was admitted into the House of Parliament, that was against the then Chief Justice of India, Justice Deepak Mishra. But then Vice President of India, Venkaiah Naidu, who was also the ex officio vice chairperson of Rajya Sabha, he refused to accept this motion in the floor of the house, because he said that this was based on political motivations, not according to an actual report of misallegation against Justice Deepak Mishra, right? So this was the last instance when a motion was introduced before this particular motion against the Justice Yashwant Verma. Understood? So this is what you need to understand, how this process is expected to happen in the near future. Now, if the motion has been accepted in the floor of the house, then an internal committee would be created, and based on the report, the judge would be removed from office. Through which process? Through special majority. Understood? Now, this was a very basic portion of Indian polity, but what about other portions that are not there in the news cycle? So how would you prepare for it? And especially if the students who have not begun their preparation, I have a very good idea for you. And this idea is called as a resolution batch. In these batches, we provide you foundational level knowledge for all the subjects that is there in the UPSC exam, and from prelims to mains to interview. That is why the word P2I is mentioned here. So everything that you require to fulfill and clear this exam is provided to you, be it live classes, be it mentorship, be it test series. So please do not hesitate to take admissions on one of our batches. You can take admissions for 2027, 26 and 28 depending upon which year you want to give the exams. And before taking the admission, please ensure that you enter the keywords ATS Live in the promo code section, because this helps you save 7,000 of your hard-earned money, right? And the admissions for this 2027 batch will close from 31st of July. So if you want to clear this exam, please hurry up and take the admission. This is also a number 9240231070. If you have any queries, you can call on this number. They'll sort it out for you. And do not forget to let them know to use this code ATS Live, because it helps you get a lot of discount. Now let us solve, or let us try to solve two practice questions. This is a PYQ from 2019. Sorry if the font is small, but you can understand this is a very large question, so I have to accommodate it in one slide. Now try to solve this question. You have to identify which of the following four statements is or are correct. Another practice question that I've curated is this. Both of these are exactly on the patterns of UPSC exam. Try to answer these questions in the comment section, and the ones who answer it correctly will get it thumbs up from my side, so that you know you've gotten it right. And the notes, if you want to download them, they will be available on this Telegram channel, like we have already discussed. ATS Live, subscribe to it and download the notes. So we'll see each other again. Please have a very good day.